Guys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's BTC Gambler here. Listen, this is a video you've probably all been waiting for. This is the new improved version of how to set up Alphaverse the easy way. As you can see, I've got Alphaverse running there. So it's been running now for almost 2 days. So given that it runs quite a fast speed, it's doing 11 million bets an hour. But we're going to come back to that. And we're just going to focus purely on this video of how to set up Alphaverse the easy way. And your first step starts here. It's over here in Discord. There is an Alphaverse server. So in the pinned message to this video will be an invitation link to that server. So I'm going to talk you through this process step by step, and it really isn't difficult at all. And I've tried to make things as easy as I possibly can. But we're going to start off with the assumption. So I'm going to start off here, and that is I'm going to ask you to download the latest version of Ubuntu server. Now, depending on what time of the year that you're watching this, the version will change. But what we're looking for is the long-term service release. So today's date is the 21st of December 2023. So this is 22.04.3, which is the long-term service release. Okay, and we're downloading Ubuntu server. So the link again would be in instructions. Now I'm going to assume you know how to install Ubuntu, because it really is the next install. We haven't installed anything other than Ubuntu, and the only thing I've done is just run an update on it as well. So there'll be in the instructions, and again, if you get stuck with that, then reach out to me. And then if you're installing it on a hypervisor, whatever that may well be, you know, it could be Zen server, it could be VMware, it could be XNG, it could be any of them. Make sure you've installed the guest tools are installed in it as well. And that's what I've done here. And once I've done that, I've shut it down. It's fully patched, fully updated it, and I converted it to a template. So we're going to basically it's a fresh install of Linux. So we're going to create a new VM. Now the process we're going to follow is we're going to create the server first, and then we're going to create clients. Well, we're going to create one client, and then we're going to convert that client into a template, and then you can deploy as many clients you want from that one template. So we start off with the server first. So I'm just going to create a new server. Okay, I'm just going to call it Alpha Test Server. And because this is the server, this is going to be a higher spec, so we need to change this. You need 8 CPU cores and 8 gigs of RAM. You'll see why later, because this is going to act as not only the server, but it's going to act as the API server as well. Okay, I made a bit of an error there. The memory configuration, it was in gigabytes. So yeah, I had to change it to 8. So I'm going to start it and then open up the console. Okay, that's loaded up. So I'm going to do all of this in putty, because we can copy and paste commands. Okay, well, I'm logged in. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the host name of this box, and I'm going to set it a static IP address. Okay, that's done. So I've changed the host name. I put the command in the instructions. Should confirm that, and that's now called Alpha-Test Server. And the second thing I'm going to change is from a DHCP address to a static IP. So we edit this file here using Nano. Now I have made life easier for you, because if you head over to the Discord server, there's an example configuration of the static IP configuration. You can just literally copy and paste this, and you can put in your static configuration. And trust me, you really want to do this, because it's very finicky. Because if you get this wrong, you know, even the wrong indentation, not using a colon, I found it quite painful to work with. So you could press Control and K to delete a line at a time, and you could just paste it in there, just right clicking. And in here we're going to set the static IP address. Now for me, that's exactly what it would be. So I'm using an internal network range 10.0.3.1. It's a /16 network, which is, yeah, if you know anything about the network, but yours will be very different. And my gateway address, and I always use 1.1.1 as a DNS server. Just Control X and say yes to write it, and then sudo netplan apply. And what will happen is that will depreciate the network, and I will lose putty connection. Now what I would do here is I will add that IP address into my host file locally. Okay, we're back in. So we've logged in. Basically, we've got a vanilla version of Ubuntu now with a static IP and the right host name, and this gives us a good starting point. We're just going to run a few commands. So I'm just running a sudo update, and then I'm going to do an upgrade as well, just to make sure there's no outstanding patches to be done. Okay, I'm up to date. Don't move forward because you've got no more updates available. Okay, and we're just going to run through these list of commands here. So this is the server build here, and we've got a section on the client build afterwards. Okay, so we're going to run through these commands. JQ allows me to pull data from a config file into a bash script. So we're going to run that. The next command, we're going to pull down the latest version of Network Packet Manager, or NVM. Okay, and it won't actually take effect, so you actually have to log out and log back in again. So we have to close this session down. Okay, I'm logged back in. Once we've done that, we need to install Node. And we need to tell it to use it. And we're going to install yarn. We ain't got much more to go, guys. And then we're going to clone the repository where Alphaverse is stored. Now, word of warning, anybody out there that currently has Alphaverse up and running, and if you think you could just run a git pull to get the latest version, I'm going to tell you now to stop, because it will overwrite your client config file. A massive red flag, guys. So don't run a git pull, because it will overwrite your client config file. And if you haven't backed it up, you have lost that account. There is no way to get it back. Just a word of warning. So don't do this on existing machines. Right, the username and password to log in, you need to talk to me over in Discord. Okay, that's going to clone that down. Okay, we're there, so we should have an Alphaverse folder. We do, which is good news. We're going to change into the Alphaverse folder, and then we're going to run a yarn install. And what that's going to do, that's going to read the package.json file and install all the dependencies needed to run Alphaverse. And then we're going to run a yarn upgrade. Just make sure everything's updated and upgraded to the latest versions. Okay, great. And then we're going to run npm upgrade. This is the Network Packet Manager. We're good to go. It said found 0 vulnerabilities, which is exactly what we're looking for. 0 vulnerabilities. Okay. Now, this next stage gets a little bit tricky. Well, it's not really, but just open up a notepad. Right, there's this website that I want you to go to. It's called passwordgenerator.net. And what we're going to do is we're going to create 2 passwords. One is 64 characters long. Okay, guys, so yeah, you can't create a 64-bit character here. There is a button here that said old version, and we go in here, and this is where, I don't know why they've changed this. 64 characters long, and we don't want to include any symbols because some of these can cause weird problems, and we definitely want to exclude similar characters. Don't just have these 3 enabled here. Okay, and we just click on generate password, and we're just going to copy that and put that in a text file. and that's going to be what we call your auth token. And the other one is we're going to create a same settings, but this time 22 characters long. Generate passwords. These are completely random. I mean, you can create your own. You don't have to use this website, and you don't have to use 64 characters and 22 characters. It's entirely up to you. But obviously, the more stronger you make it, the safer it's going to be. Now, there's your two files there. And what we're going to do, we're going to open up a WinSCP session to that server. Okay, we're going to do a couple of things while we're here, because I've got a putty session open here, and as you can see, our alpha server folder here, and we're going to change this file here, called client config, and we're going to change the other one, which is called server config as well. So the first one, the auth token, this is that 64 character password that we created earlier, and I don't mind you guys seeing this because this is all going to be deleted by the time this video goes out. This is used from the client to communicate to the server. Okay, so an extra layer of security built into Alphaverse. Now the master host will be the name of your server. Remember to add the HTTP because it's a web server. It's going to be logging onto that particular website. Now the username, API key, password are related to your casino accounts and your two-factor secrets and the currency. The only one that you really want to change is this one here, which is the API server. And there you're just going to put the host name of your server. So, and what I've done, I've set up the API server to automatically run when you start the server. Okay, we're going to save that file and we're going to go back and we're going to edit the server config. Here you're going to put, this would be the name of the account that you would use to log on to the Alphaverse website. It's got nothing to do with the casino or anything. It's just literally the account that you use when you log on to the server. And we're just going to call this test for the moment. And here you're going to put that 22 character password. And the auth token is the one we did earlier, which was the 64 character password. Well, we will need to put a figure in here and just put 30 for the moment, and you can leave the fund manager blank. And that's, we can save this. Okay, we're coming back to the server. We're still in our putty session and we're in the Alphaverse live folder. We need to run a chmod command and we're going to add the execute to bin and then restart server, and then we could just run that, and that starts 3 bits of code, which is going to be really important. So if we do screen dash list, we can see there's 3 separate screens running. So if we go into the server first, we can see the server's up and running. If we go into screen-r, which is reconnect, you get IPs, that's running, and then API server is not running. Manually run it. I don't know why it didn't run, but anyway. Okay, so technically we should be able to log onto that website. So let me just test that. Okay, that's the URL, and then so we know that the username is test and the password is a 22 character password. Bingo. You have successfully created your first Alphaverse server, albeit it's got no clients in it, but you've got Alphaverse server up and running. So huge congratulations to you. So funny's gone on with the characters there. Well, we're going to do a client now. So what we're going to do is we're going to repeat the steps, and I'm going to create a new virtual machine. We're just going to call it Alpha Test Client. Yeah, we're going to call this one Alpha Test Client, deploy from the template. And I'm going to keep them as they're set. They should be right. 2 CPU cores and 2 gigs of RAM. Not 2. Yep. We should be able to just whiz through this. Okay, that's launched. So I'm going to treat this one slightly differently, because the reason we're going to do this is because this is going to be converted into a template. So I'm not going to bother changing the host name, and I am not going to bother changing the static IP. At the moment it's on DHCP. So we're just going to run the usual commands. We reached a point where it says no updates. I've done an update, an upgrade, and there's no updates. And don't move on until you've done that. And then we're going to run through the commands that we went through last time. JQ is required. We're going to pull down the install script for NVM. We have to exit. And then we're going to, same as before, install node to use it. So now we can do a global install of yarn using npm. We're going to clone Alphaverse. Okay, that's done. We have Alphaverse there, and then we do a yarn install. Again, repeat of the first one. Then we're going to do a yarn upgrade. Likewise, we're going to upgrade the network package manager. Okay, this is where we get to things slightly different here. So on the client side, we will need the GNOME desktop, but I'm going to install a really cut down version. So where it only installs just the bare minimum for the GNOME desktop. And because that's a minimum install of GNOME desktop, there is actually a few essential things that are missing. So Control Center is one of them. So we have to manually install it. The other one is an app called Startup Applications, because we're going to get it to automatically launch the Alphaverse agent when you log in. The other one is GNOME software. It's not entirely necessary, but. And the final app is Fuse. That is 100% necessary. So all the instructions, guys, will be in the description of this video. And if you do get stuck, you could just reach out to me. None of this is particularly difficult. Okay, I'm just going to make one more change, and then we're getting very close. So you don't have to do this, but I do it just to make life easier. And I'm going to set the desktop automatically log in when it launches. So the path to the file is under etc/gdm3, and then it's custom.conf, and we'll nano that. I'm going to unhash the enable automatic logon, and I'm just going to put the username that in my instance is going to be BTC Gambler. But it'd be whatever yours is. Control X and Y to save that. I'm not going to reboot yet. Now, this may be different for you, but for me, I'm using VPN. Yeah, in the instructions you'll see, guys, there'll be a link there to a 30-day free trial of PIA. So yeah, if you could use that, I'd be grateful. I don't get any money from that, but they do give me, I think, 30 days for free for everybody that signs up. So it doesn't cost you anything more, anything less. It's just yeah, that's a link to PIA. And the reason I'm saying PIA is because that's what I'm using. I've tried all different providers, and PIA, I seem to get away with it. I've got 170 unique IP addresses somehow on 15 accounts. So it's supposed to be a maximum of 11 accounts, but I've gone over that and they've seemed to allow me to do that. Yeah, and also all of the configuration that I've done has been all around PIA. So, and you'll find all the config files that I've already pre-populated for you, all the locations that I know that work with Stake and such forth, have already been pre-compiled, and they're in Discord. So you can just download them just to make life a lot easier for yourself. So we're just going to install OpenVPN. And then we're going to reboot. Now if all's gone well, this is going to boot straight into the desktop and automatically log in. So while that's loading up, if you head on over to Discord, and under the folder where it's got bash shell scripts, there is a pre-configured VPN locations here. It's got vpn2.zip. It's a zip file, so if we just download that, I've actually already downloaded it once, and there's a folder there called VPN, and we're going to copy that. And if you look in there, there's all the pre-configured OpenVPN files, settings already preset with the right certificate settings for PIA. And I've done all the hard work for you guys. So, yeah. But you will need an account. And so you can sign up to a free 30-day trial. We'll do that in a second. Hey, it's logged in. It's logged in. Okay, we started at desktop, which is good. Right, I'm going to make one change here. If there's any software to update it. It wanted a reboot. That's annoying. Always make sure you're patched, because every vulnerability that is out there is always because somebody hasn't patched their system to the latest release. You know, keep it patched. Okay, that's done. I'm going to open up a putty session again. I just run an ifconfig, and that should give us the IP address. The only reason I want that is because I want to run a WinSCP connection to it. Okay, so now we're here. So we're at the root folder. And earlier on we downloaded those VPN files. Let's go back to them. They're just going to copy them to the root folder here. So that under the username they have a folder called VPN, and it's really important it's in that location, because the script that changes the VPN location looks for that particular path. But we're very nearly there, guys. So there's a couple of things we need to do now. Is under the Alphaverse file live folder, there's the client here. We need to make that executable, and then we're going to delete the client config, and we're going to delete the server config, because we're going to copy those across from your other server, this file and this file, because it's got the username and passwords in there. Okay, one thing we forgot to do, guys, is in the other one, and we need to do this on the server as well, we need to set your password you use when you log onto your desktop, and when you log into Linux. So when you run a sudo command, it would ask for the password. So the scripts that use sudo command will get the password from the config file here, and that's why we had to install JQ. You'll see in a moment we're going to thoroughly test this. So I don't mind you seeing this, because like literally this is test, this will all be deleted, and that's fake. Everything's fake here. Yeah, and I put in there then, so I had them back to front actually. It's the number of bets that you're going to run in simulation, and yeah, the amount. So I put 7,600,000, which I'd say represents a good month's worth of running, and then a recovery pot size there. And the final step we need to do is verify that your VPN's working. So if we've got a putty session open, so you're going to create a file. So you're just going to type sudo nano, and it's etc open VPN, and just going to call it pass. It's important that you call it pass, because in the config file of each of the VPN locations, I've told it to look for the password for your PIA credentials in a file called pass. So if you call it anything else, and it is case sensitive as well, so if you put capital P or anything, it won't work. This is going to ask for the password. In here you're just going to paste your PIA credentials. Okay, I've done that. I've saved my password for PIA, and what we're going to do now, just to test it, we're going to copy over, I'm saying France VPN, using this command here. Remember we copied over the VPN folder, we've got a France VPN connection, and we should be able to start it. So all these commands will be in the instructions, guys. Now it should technically be able to start OpenVPN if all gone well, and if that works, we should have a French. That is not my normal public IP, so that is we know VPN's working. And we've got one final step to do. We said we made this executable. Under the bin folder, all of these scripts need to be start from restart server. You don't want that. You don't want to start the server on the client. Make the rest of them executable. And then in the desktop, I'm going to reboot. Okay, we restarted, and we're very, very nearly there, guys. So the only thing we need to do is we need to make sure this client can communicate with the server. So obviously it can't resolve the host name, so we need to add it into the host file. It's etc hosts. Remember to put sudo in front of it. Okay, and I'm going to add, we don't need all these IPv6 addresses, just delete them. And I'm going to put my test server in there, 10.0.3.1, alpha test server. And we should be able to ping that. We're pretty much nearly there. Okay, over here, we're just going to open up the startup applications. Going to remove whatever there and just add in there the Alphaverse agent, which is under Alphaverse Live and Alphaverse app image, and add that and close it. Okay, well, we had an odd one there, guys. So if the settings is not visible, which it was for me, you have to reinstall the GNOME control center. You only need this once. So what you want to change here is under privacy and under screen, we just want it to never blink the screen. Don't get it to automatically lock the screen. That's fine. We just don't want it to lock the screen. That's all we need that settings for. It's so frustrating when it does that. No, it didn't automatically log in. I just want to reboot one more time. Hey, we're finally there. It's auto logged in. It's auto launched the agent. You have to check that box. And we should have successful connection into stake. Set the cookie. Close it. And you could just click on open stake again just to verify it should open and then close again. We're good. We're good to go. This stage here we are going to shut it down and we are going to convert this to a template, hoping that I have not made any mistakes anywhere down the line. And now it's a shut down. I'm going to convert it to a template and then we can start deploying clients. So we just do one alpha test client 1. And what I tend to do is I call them alpha-client and the name of the account that I'm using on the casino, because it just makes life so much easier. Okay, we're back up. We're back up. So let's open up another session, putty session. It's got a different IP this time. And here we're going to change the IP address and the host name so that it's static. Okay, I've changed the host name, so I'm going to change it to a static IP. So I've applied that. That is actually going to throw me off here. I have actually added this to my local host file as well, so I can communicate it now via the host name. Now what we'd normally do at this stage here is we'd populate at the client config with your stake username and password, the API key, the two-factor secret. Okay, after a little bit of faffing around there, I managed to get the client running. It is actually reported bust, but that's expected because it's picked up the real balance from the casino. So that should automatically, when I restart the client, when I restart the dice bot, should work. So it creates a RAM drive. Yeah. Actually, we should. Client now, it's picked up the right config. It's picked up 30 balance, so we should technically be able to see we actually have our first client. I know what's wrong with these files here, guys. That won't be there when you see it. I might, before the video is over, fix that. But technically we have a first client there. We have a first client in running, and congratulations. So in this instance I would refire up the template. Yeah, it worked with those changes, guys. So we now actually got 2 clients actually running on here now. So yeah, this machine we're going to convert back to a template, and then you're just going to convert that to a template. You can deploy from there. Well, at least we know 100% that's working. Right, that was probably a lot to take in, and it was a bit more faff than I anticipated, but so far we successfully created Alphaverse and we're running in simulation mode. Now in Discord we can have further discussions about how you can run this with real funds, and I've got lots of strategies that you want to test in there. I highly encourage you to play around with this with just test funds at the moment. You're going to need to create as many stake accounts as you can. Recognize that this code will only run if it has got Mr. BTC Gambler in the welcome offer. So if you tried to run this with an account that doesn't have it doesn't run. So that does give you instant rate back, guys, at gold level. Yeah, it's getting quite late for me now, so I won't edit this video. I know exactly what this wrong is here. That will be fixed by the time you get to it. But if you followed it through this long and you got this far, a massive congratulations to you. And we will talk in the next video about what strategies to run. Right, I'm going to call it a night there, guys. I'm getting tired. For me, this has been running for 2 hours, 10 minutes. Obviously, I've got a lot of editing to do. Yeah, we take it from there. And I'll speak to you all again very soon.